Hey guys, and welcome back to Poppin' Off at Pops, our Riverdale After Show reaction show brought to you by that hashtag show and Smells Like Teen Angst. And this week, we are sponsored by Barb and Star. Go to Vista Del Mar. We did it. Yay. If you guys don't know what Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar is, make sure you check out the trailer. It stars Kristen Wiig and Annie Mumolo. Mumolo? How do we say her name? Mumolo? Mumolo? It looks Mumolo. It looks absolutely hilarious, and I will see anything that Kristen Wiig is in. So moving forward, guys, let's talk about Riverdale episode 79. The graduation. We weren't left with a lot of cliffhangers last week. You know, we talked about like what was the worst reveal, and it seems like the auteur wins. A photo I didn't upload, I'll upload it later. We'll share it on the Twitters. But this episode, overall thoughts before we like dive into specifics.
You can tell, like after watching the last 3 episodes, that this really was supposed to be the end of last season. And it would have felt better if we had got this at the end of last season.
Do you think that
now, and it's a little anticlimactic?
It's very much like just this rush to finish where we're kind of just closing up storylines that, you know, weren't fully fleshed out enough for us to really care. And we're ending. Like it is a crescendo to nothing.
Yeah. Do you think that, because I'm sure they had to rewrite some stuff, do you think that the original ending of season 4 was going to be so anticlimactic with Jughead just showing up to Pops a year later and no one being there and him just like hinting at a tragedy that's going to bring them all back together? Or do you think they did that specifically because they knew next week we'd have a new episode with the time jump?
No, I think they did it on purpose. I think it's very close to how it was written. Because they have said, while they changed some stuff, it was mostly for COVID safety. So I don't necessarily see them, you know, like I don't think that there were a ton of rewrites. And they had already leaked that there would be a time going into season 5. So I think this is very close to what we would have gotten anyway.
Yeah.
I do think that Riverdale kind of has a tendency to have like these really big epic episodes before the actual season finale. That you know, kind of give us the storylines that we wanted to close, and then the season finale has always been very like until next time, and this is like a very different until next time because the whole episode was about kind of shoving everybody into their little boats and letting them sail away.
Yeah, they wrote everyone off, I think, in a decent way as far as like sending FP off with Jelly Bean to Ohio so that, you know, she could be with her mom and they could deal with everything that went down. But I felt really bad for Alice because I am a huge FP Alice shipper. And so I was like, girl, you're not going to go with him. He doesn't want you to go either. And I just like, that kind of made me sad. But I'm hoping, like she said, this can't be the end of our story. And he's like, I really hope not. And we're just going to have to wait and see where that goes.
Their relationship is so like not compelling to me at this point.
Yeah. Oh shoot! Sorry, Jordan. I accidentally bopped you. Start over. Sorry, that was my fault. I accidentally bopped you from the stream when I tried to make you big and perfect.
You bopped me. You bopped me because I don't like your ship. I see how this is.
Sorry, what were you saying?
They're not compelling at this. I think they aren't compelling at this point. Like, I don't really care about their relationship anymore. It's also a little weird when you have like the mom and the dad in one bedroom and then the daughter and the son in another bedroom, but they're all dating. It was just a little awkward. I don't like going there in my brain. Also, where the hell were FP and Jellybean's luggage? She just rode off in the sidecar of the motorcycle for no bag.
Right. They're not going to keep anything. They're just like, they're just gonna go off and buy new clothes, I guess. Maybe there's like a little like 2 small duffels stuffed underneath
In the sidecar?
in the sidecar by her feet because she's little. She's supposed to be
Maybe
like
they got
14.
one of those like storage cubes, and it's all gonna show up. You know, you don't know.
He's got a pod. It's like
Yeah, it's all in a pod. And it's going across the country.
Some of the other
Yeah.
serpents were towing the pod with a motorcycle.
yeah, they're driving the U-Haul. This is something so silly that I noticed that I kind of loved that Skeet Ulrich is the only one of the people riding motorcycles that checked both ways before driving off. Like when he drove into the street and everyone else knows the street is closed. And he was just like, anyone coming? So silly. I know. Go back, watch it. It happens. And I was like, look at that fun little detail, Skeet Ulrich. I think, habits. Since we're in the FP Alice Jughead Betty realm, it seems as though people were right that Betty was going to be the one to confess what happened with Archie. So, did you guys like how that went down?
Yes, because it was very honest. Like, I feel like, she brought it up when she felt she had to bring it up. She would have kind of let it ride to the grave, or at least until they probably departed off to college or whatever. But she addressed, the elephant in the room and tried to close her chapter with Jughead on a good note.
Yeah. I like that, how he explained it. And I also thought it was really interesting that this is a very teen drama-filled show, but the way that entire thing played out was the most anti-teen show. You know what I mean? There was Jughead saying, we all deserve maybe a little normal teen angst in our lives. He's not mad at Archie. He's not mad at Betty. It just kind of put a wedge between their relationship. And he's like, well, I guess this is what we needed to be apart and let you go off to Yale and me live in Archie's house as a squatter until the power goes out.
It was such a sad ending for Jughead, honestly. And I don't think it was meant to be that way. I think going into it, I always thought it was going to be I was going to really feel for Archie because Archie lost out on the Naval Academy. That was his goal. And, his dad died and he's supposed to repeat a whole year of high school. And then he's going off to the army. But this turn with Jughead really made me feel for him and care more about where he's going, which awesome for Cole Sprouse. Totally can't wait to see where you go with this. But, there were some unmotivated things like him trying to give away school for Jellybean, him squatting. Come on, you couldn't have stayed at Archie's house? Just a lot of things that became really, really sad.
Yeah. Well, Archie's house was being sold or something. The power all went out, and that's why he ended up in the bunker.
Yeah.
But do you guys like how they kind of? I'm so torn. Oh, I hit things. I'm so torn on how they. I know things happen. Explained why Jellybean did what she did, right? So they're we had the 4 things. So you've got the Black Hood, Jason Blossom's father murdering him, the Gargoyle King, and then the Auteur, which is Jellybean. But they're we didn't realize how that was going to affect the lower generation. So now you've got these kids hiding in Archie's gym. You've got, this is the extra added on explanation as to why Jellybean did what she did. And I'm okay, I can see that. But at the same time, I still think it's a lame explanation. Am I alone?
Yes. No,
so
not alone, but yes, I agree with you.
So
go ahead, Jordan.
I didn't like Jellybean being the auteur, and I still don't.
But agreed.
I do think that there was some credence or some weight to him saying hey, this crazy stuff happened, and the younger generation noticed and they were affected by it. And I do think that was an important thing to say, and I hope it's something that they lean into in this next part of the, because now these jelly Bean's age will be the age that Archie and this gang are 6 years from now.
Right.
So I do think in some ways it was an important thing to bring up, but I just, Jellybean being the auteur overall was just a very weak plot.
Mm-hmm.
It felt more like they were batting cleanup on a weak plot than like an actual decision that was made.
Yeah, I still want to know if that was the original plan. I don't know if the writers will ever answer that or not, but I really do want to know. And the writers, because they're very active on Twitter, say that this episode was a love letter to all the Riverdale fans. And I could kind of feel that in the way like this episode was much slower paced. I don't know if you guys felt that too. And then we got all those flashbacks and I kind of giggled to myself because they all look exactly the same, except for like KJ Appa, who in his little flashback looks like a baby, but everyone else looks exactly the same.
Well, I mean, they all started the show a little more aged.
Aged. a little more aged.
A little bit aged.
Like a fine wine.
Like a fine wine.
Well, I mean, when you put kids in this kind of situation with a very high, like I had this debate on Facebook with a friend. They're very upset with like the Winx saga because the teenagers aren't teenagers. And I'm like, look, there's a lot of logistics that go into that. And especially the show like Riverdale, you've got to be over 18 because they're putting them in very sexual situations and making them drink and do like, this show has drugs and drinking and teen sex. That can't be anyone underage. So
also like the time allowed to be spent on set and when it comes to set is also based on age as well. Like
yeah,
there are labor laws.
All day there's labor laws.
It doesn't matter. It's filmed in Canada. The rules are here.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got graduation. And I know I've got a little graduation photo from everybody. And I love that Cheryl's in her red, because of course she is.
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan, they did not give you the song that you wanted from last week.
It was the song that I did not want last week, but here's what I also recognized. I hate all of the schmaltzy graduation teenage songs. Because they're all terrible. And the second Archie pulled out his guitar, I was like, oh no. And he hit the first two chords and I was like, fucking time of your life, you gotta be kidding me.
I know. I was like, all right, Green Day. But as soon as the principal was like, Archie, we'd love for you to sing the graduation song, even though you're not graduating and you're going to lie about it to all of your friends until you drop the bomb that you're going to the army. I was like, can we not though? Could we?
Okay, here's the thing. I felt like that was such a wasted plot point, right? Archie not graduating was such a wasted sentence and a half. They could have just let him graduate with everybody else because it bared the way that they got to him when he go to the army, like, and him not graduating didn't really have anything to do with each other. They could have said, oh, Archie, you made it. You're going to graduate. And he still could have seen the photo of the guys. He still could have been confused about what his post-graduation plans were. He still could have decided to enlist. They didn't need that extra, like, kicking the balls to Archie.
I know. When they did it, I was like, he could just get his GED and go. Like, why are we...
Right?
It didn't, like, the weight of it didn't matter. And, like, I also thought it was just weird because the girls have this time capsule, right? So here's the photo that Archie sees. It's these four guys that graduated in 1975 heading off to war. First of all, I don't think that math works because didn't, like, Vietnam end in
it was
February?
1945, baby.
Was it? 45? I thought it was 75. Okay, never mind. I take all of that back.
Why was it in black and white, Sarah?
Why would it be black and white, Sarah? There's colored photos.
Because a lot of photos even then, when I was a kid, and I'm in the 80s, like, we had black and white photos anyway.
No,
40. I thought they said 75, so thank you.
It was
I was like, Vietnam was over. I'm very confused. So, like, we're talking World War, was that World War II then?
Mm-hmm.
World War One. One of the world wars was happening
World
at that
War II.
time.
They're fighting the Germans.
I too.
Yeah. So like they're going off to war. And so he's like, I'm gonna do that. I am looking at these four gentlemen who were barely of age, heading off to war and join the army.
Okay, but do you see how they're holding that photo with white gloves?
Yes.
Can we talk about the fact that Archie just picks it up off a table with no gloves and plays with it?
I was upset.
I was like, who just leaves these things out? And also get your grubby fingers off of this, like, I don't know, 50, 60-year-old photo?
Exactly.
So there are multiple things in this episode that I was it wouldn't happen like this. And it really, normally I can like suspend my disbelief in Riverdale, but there were so many things in this episode. First of all that old stuff would have been under glass, okay? Archie wouldn't have been able to pick it up with his big chicken grease fingers, number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, they wouldn't have put the Sapphire Serpent and these gangs in the yearbook, okay? They don't just put gangs in the yearbook, y'all.
Gangs in the yearbook?
They're social clubs.
They're not social clubs.
No, they're
hey, three. Archie would have known. Archie would have known he wasn't going to graduate way before the last day of classes, okay? Mm-hmm. He would have known that weeks ago. Yeah. And it would have leaked to all his friends. And then thirdly, and this is my bone to pick with all high school television graduations, nobody looks at a graduation. Nobody looks that good. Because on TV, they all showed up and they've altered their gown and they've got it unbuttoned. You can see their cleavage. They got little bow ties coming up. They got a cap on sideways. Cheryl has her own custom color. This doesn't happen in real life.
Yeah, I'm just giving you photos because I concur. But I am going to go back to the gang thing. If Disneyland can have social clubs, Riverdale can have social clubs.
Disneyland have a yearbook with all their social clubs?
Where
they're like social clubs.
Like, do they acknowledge it?
Social clubs are not acknowledged by Disney.
Whatever. Let's talk about their time capsule. So you've got like Kevin putting in his playbills for his music house. You got Reggie with his football. You know, Veronica putting in the pops in a matchbook. Betty putting in her paper. And Archie throws in what? Like a pick and something else that I've completely forgotten what it was.
So wait,
the pretty poisons jacket,
mm-hmm.
and Jughead throws in the beanie.
Oh, Archie put in his dad's hammer.
That's it. The hammer was the other thing. A pick and a hammer. And then Jughead says goodbye to his beanie.
Nobody wants your dirty ass cat
always there though.
Sorry, one at a time, ladies. One at a time. I know you're very excited.
When it comes to this Riverdale gang stuff, it's always been, like Cheryl, Archie, Betty, Jughead, Veronica. Like, mm-hmm. Those are the people I always expect to see when it comes to the end. When it comes to Kevin and Reggie, I'm just like, why are y'all here? Like, what are you guys in a relationship? Like, can you guys are always just randomly showing up in these last episodes? Because you haven't been important in like a season.
Which makes me kind of sad because I like Kevin and I like his dad,
Agreed.
And like
I think
I didn't say I didn't like them. I just said, why are we acting like you guys are good friends with them?
Because in season one they were.
Kevin is totally an underutilized character who deserves more screen time. And Reggie is a hottie McTottie, so I'm happy anytime he comes back.
He is a beautiful man.
I'm just gonna show him. Here we go.
Right.
Say hello. You're welcome.
Get at me, Charles Melton. I'm single.
I know. See, Kevin's always in the background. Reggie's right behind him.
To your point, Keiki, they do this thing with their time capsule that won't make any sense in 30 years, by the way. Any child who opens this in the future won't know what any of these things are. They'll be like a hammer, a dirty jacket, this weird hat, like whatever. But they do this whole time capsule thing, and then again, Kevin and Reggie disappear, and it's just our core four.
Yeah. To say goodbye one more time.
So it's like, okay, where did Kevin and Reggie go? Is there some party that they just chose not to go to? They're just gonna hang out at the Butchers while they're gone? Like, why does this always happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are they the only
Also-
kids with curfews?
I want to jump back really quickly back to my beef with how fake TV is. Betty has time to solve murders and be the valedictorian. How does she have all this time?
I was like, let me give you your platform and make your video big.
Also now an idiot when
Right?
Archie
Betty
and Betty
doesn't have the
just
time.
study together.
She doesn't have time for all this.
All the time.
Valedictorian.
She's valedictorian. She's going to Yale, you guys, and she solves murders.
Who has that much time?
Hold on. Apparently, this bitch. Okay.
Mind you, this girl has a boyfriend too, guys.
I know. Well,
let's not forget, she has time to be in a committed relationship. Like how?
I don't even know. But not anymore.
Jingle. She's on Jingle Jangle.
She's has to be on the Jingle Jangle.
Oh man. I thought it was weird, like to jump to Cheryl real quick. We haven't talked about Cheryl and Toni much yet. Cheryl's mom is turning herself in for all the murders and things she's had to deal with in Riverdale.
All of the murders, not all of them.
Mrs. Blossom in the bushes was my favorite moment of this episode.
Hello.
She's like the opposite of the Homer Simpson meme. She's sort of like, oh my God.
Me, anytime I hear gossip.
And you tell me nobody saw her?
She's sneaky. She's sneaky.
You are a wanted person, but you were able to sneak into the back of the graduation and then just saunter out, and no one was like, is that?
None the wiser, y'all. None the wiser.
She didn't even have on a disguise.
No. She just had her little whatever. I can't even remember what those are called right now.
It's all good. But then Cheryl's decided.
Fascinator.
Oh, Fascinator. There it is. And poor little Cheryl has decided she's not going to go to Highsmith College with Toni, and she's going to let Toni go off, and she is going to try and redeem the Blossom name. And it makes me sad, but they can long distance, right? Maybe. I don't know.
Well, they could have, but we did say last week they were going to have to break all the couples up, and that's how they got around to it.
Yeah. And I think that's like honorable of Cheryl, because to be fair, she doesn't have to go to school to like make a life and a career for herself. She was handed an empire. So if that's what she wants to do with it, like, all right, girl, you do you make it happen. And hopefully she does what she sets out to do, and that this sacrifice is worth it.
I mean, I've seen Cheryl Enterprise quite a few different things throughout this show. So I really don't think she needs to sacrifice college to do so. She's always kind of been the person who can do both.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, this is a way to break them up, maybe create a different storyline for her.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it'd be more logical for her to be like, actually, I'm going to business school and blah, blah, blah. Peace out. Than,
Then this
home and do this entrepreneur thing. Bring Blossom Maple back to the top,
Look at their little sad faces. They're so sad. Oh, Nana, get it together. Veronica, so let's chat about this woman. Just a smidgen. Apparently, everything is fine and dandy in the Lodge House after a giant coup went down.
The one person with the most drama within their family and life is now the most drama-free. She's legit, going to the Hamptons, right? For the summer? To be with mommy for the summer.
Yeah, she's just like going to leave a little early. She's like, I've graduated and I'm just going to leave my fam bam and I'm going to sleep with Archie one more time. I get it. Look at his beautiful face. And
Don't
just
hook up with your ex, guys. Don't do it.
Say goodbye one more time and head off. And no drama after that. It was the least climactic breakups, least climactic reactions. It was so anti-teen show, and it was so weird. And I know it's a trope, like a la Dawson's Creek with a love triangle, but there's also a reason it's a trope.
But we had to hop in the car too to say goodbye to Archie as he's riding away on his 1940s army bus. And they
So this is this photo.
1920s car. Like,
Yeah.
And he gets the driver to stop the bus.
I know. Well, there was only like one other person. Where was that driver trying to go? He could just say it was an extra potty stop. You know?
It's my girlfriend and my friends. I gotta say goodbye. Also,
Bro, you're going to the army. The army has rules, okay? You can't just be stopping the bus.
he's also like, I'll see you in a year when he's going to the army. That bothers the hell out of me too. Well, I'll see you in a year. Girl, no, you won't.
Right? And didn't Veronica say there's a war? Right? What are you going to? Didn't Veronica say there's a war right now? So like you're hitting boot camp and then going straight to getting deployed. I don't know what you think is happening.
Apparently there's a war.
And those military guys were like,
we've established we have no clue when Riverdale takes place. So like,
yeah.
There's a war, sure.
So like they're like, this isn't a decision to take lightly. And he's like, I'm not. And then the next day he joins up. I do appreciate Veronica's reaction though.
He gets deployed the next day. Like literally they're like, all right, you signed up. See you on the bus tomorrow. This is not how it works, guys.
But I appreciate Veronica's reaction because it's probably the same reaction I would have had. I have a lot of family and a lot of friends who've joined the military, and kudos to you. It's something I could never do, but it's something I also don't understand. So good on you. I would have been Veronica. I would not have been Betty, being like, well, you know, whatever makes you happy, Archie. So that's just me, though. That's just me.
I do give some kudos to Veronica because the tender scene she had with Pops when she handed the keys to his restaurant.
I loved that. She's like, look, I'm giving you this and I'm handing you the keys to Bonween. You're welcome.
Yeah, and she was all like, you made this a home for me. And I thought that was like really sweet and cute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, Veronica, you've grown up a little bit. I am actually curious to see who you become in a couple of years. This girl, in a couple of years. Vivi. I'm just checking my notes to see if there's anything I missed. So like everyone just leaves Jughead at Pops a year later, and he's like, I won't see anyone else for 6 more years. But
tragedy brings us to
until it brings us back. The
he promises
brings us back.
Who are we killing?
Yeah, he makes a promise of new crisis and mysteries. So we'll see exactly what that is, I guess.
I was saying,
I wish they would give us a little hint.
Would it be fun if we killed Jughead again?
Wait, say that again, Keiki?
No.
I said, who are we killing? Wouldn't it be funny if we killed Jughead again?
No.
Can it be someone we don't need, like Reggie or Kevin? We established we don't need them.
Hold on. One of them?
But then it won't get solved and no one will care.
Oh man. Yeah. You know, Jughead started this whole thing off asking if they would be haunted by this town their whole lives, and it seems like the answer is yes. I'm just gonna have to see how that plays out. I really hope this season gets better now that we have wrapped up season 4. Because so far I am not impressed or excited to watch any episodes at the moment, which makes me sad because I really enjoyed last season before COVID hit.
Well, we only have 2 episodes left that are on the schedule.
Well, there's going to be a whole season. It's just like before they'll probably take a break. Like, you know, shows take like 2 weeks off here and there. So,
but I don't know how COVID has impacted their filming again. So,
yeah.
Yeah, me either. But also, I'm willing to wait as to not like have any more episodes that just feel kind of smashed together like we've suffered through.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because season 4 was so good.
That's the bonus though of them all being grown adults. It's not like they can age out of these roles. They're already grown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're just aging them to what their real ages are now. And, you know, it'll be fine. We're just going to keep going. Every
time.
Oh, so 79, graduation. 80 next week. I don't know what it's called yet. But did we miss anything? If there's anything y'all want to discuss? No? All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye to this episode the same way Jughead did. Goodbye to the beanie. It's no longer relevant. And make sure you guys comment. Let us know what you thought of this week's episode. If you're excited for it, not excited for it, what you're hoping to see, what tragedy you think could possibly bring the crew back. And make sure to check out Barb and Star. Go to Vista Del Mar. Yes. Until then, ladies, make sure to tell them to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.